Very warm wishes to all. I, Dr. Sarita, Assistant Professor, IIMT College of Science and Technology, Greater Noida. My today's live session topic is realism. So let us start our topic. First of all, let us know the meaning of realism. So these are the outlines of my topic. We will study about the meaning, definitions, aims of education of the realisms, principles, characteristics of realism, types of realisms, curriculum, teachers, and methods of teaching, merits and demerits of realism. So, realism is that kinds of realism. It is developed by two words that res and ism. Res is denoted by Greek word and developed by real. Res means objects and ism means reflection. That is called image. Realism is a reality of system. It believes that the world is composed of matters rather than ideas. Ideas are only the images of the physical worlds. It believes that the world is made of real, substantial, and material entities. Realism means about a thing or concerning some objects, hence, it is an angle of vision according to which things as we see and perceive are realities. Realists firmly hold that knowledge acquired through senses only is true. Hence, what we perceive and see by our own senses is real in nature and the only true entity of the world. So, let us know about some definitions related to realism. Swami Ramtit said about the realism that realism means a belief or theory which looks upon world as it seems to us to be a mere phenomena. And J.S. Rose says that the doctrine of realism asserts that there is a real world of things behind and corresponding to the objects of our perception. And according to Butler, the realism is the reinforcement of our common acceptance of this world as it appears to us. Now, there are some aims of education according to realist. The first one is prepare the child for a happy and successful life. Now, the first aim of education is to prepare the child to lead a successful and happy life. This education should be such that the child is able to solve his problems of life successful and lead a happy life, promoting the welfare of society as well. The second aim of realistic education is to prepare the child for a real and practical life. Realists believe in the reality of knowledge of external material world, gain knowledge through the senses, thus it is to prepare the child for the real life of material world. Now, according to realism, mind as well as the physical organs together constitutes an organism composed of matter. So, this is the main aim of, according to realism, is developing the physical and mental powers of child. Developing and training of senses. Realists believe that unless the senses of the child are developed fully well, he will not be able to have full knowledge about the external world. The next is acquainting the child with nature and social environment. According to realism, a child is related both of the external nature and the social environment. So the aim of education is to provide the child full knowledge of both the society and the external nature so that he is able to strike a balance between the society and the nature. The next is imparting vocational education. According to realism, education should be a practical utility of child. Now, there are some principles of realism. The first one is phenomenal world is true. The realism simplify affirms the existence of an external world and is therefore the antithesis of subjective idealisms. Senses are the doors of knowledge. Realism believes that the senses are the doors of gateways of knowledge, the impression and sensations which self results from our contacts with external world through our senses. Result is knowledge which is true and real. The next is theory of organisms. According to realists, conscious and unconscious things form an organisms. Thus, Whitehead writes about the theory of organisms that the universe is a vibrating organisms is the process of evolution. Change is the fundamental feature of this vibrating universe. The very essence of real actuality is process. Mind must be regarded as the function of the organisms. The realisms is a position of idealisms. There is no place for imagination in realisms at all. Thus, realists asserts that there are no such entities as God, sound, or the other world. Man is a part of material world. According to realists, man is a part of the material world. He is endowed with sense organs and the mind through which he attains the knowledge of the real external world. The next principle is the realism emphasis on experiments. Realism emphasis on observations and experiments. According to this philosophy, no experience can be accepted as true unless it is analyzed and classified in totality. The next characteristics of the realisms. The realisms is based on science. The supporters of realisms emphasize the importance of useful and purposive education. They advocated the inclusion of scientific subjects in the curriculum and in place of academic, scientific, and education is the first characteristics of realistic education. The next is it emphasis on present life of child. As we know, the fact that realism was born as a reaction to excessive idealisms. It opposed the academic education of ideals and values and emphasized the immediate real and practical problems of day-to-day living, which only can promote individual goods and welfare. It emphasizes on experiment and applied life. Realistic education is emphasis on experiments, experiences, and applications of knowledge learned. It lays great stress on learning by doing so that they are able to solve their immediate practical problems and lead a real successful life. A position of bookish knowledge, the realistic oppose on academic, theoretical, and bookish knowledge which develops only rote memory and encourages cramming. It does not enable to the child to understand the realities of external things. According to realists, the education should inculcate in the child an understanding of both the things and the environment. It is limited freedom. It has a limited freedom of child. According to realists, the child should be gives full freedom to develop his self according to his innate tendencies. But this freedom should be promote self-discipline and self-control. It emphasizes on training of senses. Realists advocate self-learning through senses which are to be trained. Those senses are the gateways of knowledge and developed by use and experience. Now we will study about the types of realism. There are two types of realism. The first one is humanistic realism, social realism, sense realism, and the new realism. Now, social realism. Social realism is more a method of educational practice rather than a philosophy of education. It is not a completely distinct trend from others forms of realism. Social realists were practical men and were against existing routine curriculum. They plead for direct contact with men and things, particularly through travels. Now, social realism aims to make human life happy and successful by fulfilling the needs of society. Hence, the upholders of this ideology comment framing and giving full importance of society and the social environment. They emphasize the attainment of real knowledge. They opposed bookish knowledge and advocated that the education which was useful to life and practical in nature. In other words, education should promote the working efficiency of the individual. According to them, the curriculum should include geography, history, arithmetic, law, welfare, horse riding, dancing, gymnastic, exercise, etc. So that social qualities are promoted and developed. The next is humanistic realism. It is also called as verbal realism. This form of realism believed that a complete knowledge of man, nature, and society is needed to fit the individual for the realities of life. Humanistic realistic believe that the education is gained through books and they should have actual use in one's life. Its purpose is to master man's own environing life, natural and social through knowledge of broader life of ancient. Next is Neorealism. This ideology has more importance in the field of philosophy and science. Neorealism believes that, like other rules, and procedures of science are also changeable. They are valid only in certain conditions and circumstances. When those circumstances change, the rules also change. The protagonistics of neorealism emphasizes both the education of arts and science. This ideology has more importance in the field of philosophy and science than in education. Neo-realism believes that, like other rules and procedure rules, the procedure of science are also changeable. They are valid only in certain conditions and circumstances. When those circumstances change, the rules also change. The protagonistics of neorealism emphasizes both the education of art and science. Sense realisms, it came into being in the 17th century, according to which knowledge can be gained through our senses. Hence, a child should be trained with the help of objects. According to Monroe, scientific researches have influenced sense realism. Hence, the child should be brought in contact with the nature. It has preferred education of nature observation in place of language and literature. Teaching method should be scientific, inductive, based on observation, analysis, and synthesis. It stressed on physical education. So, this ideology had some roots of the modern education of today. Its prognostics upholds the knowledge primarily comes through the senses, not from words. As such, in the education of the child, his ears, mouth, skin, limbs should be freely used to the maximum. Without exercising his sense organs, no knowledge will be gained by the child. The fact is that upholders of census realisms were powerfully influenced by the scientific researchers, discoveries, and inventions of the 17th century. Now we will study about the curriculum according to realisms. If we talk about curriculum, realistics insisted that only those subjects and activities should be included in the curriculum which prepare child for actual day-to-day learning and living. Accordingly, considering these real situations, conditions, and circumstances of the present day life of human beings. The curriculum should be based on problem centered and it should be practical and useful. If we talk about the organized and systematic manner, it should be highly organized and systematic. It should have a practical activities that should be has educational values according to law. Now, commonest things about the curriculum, it should be it should have an extensive use of pictures. And Locke said about the curriculum of realisms, it should be based on attention to the complete person. It should have a use of objects in education according to Maria Montessori. And it should highly organized, separate, and systematically arranged, like science, social science, and mathematics. Now, we will study about the role of teacher according to realists. The role of teacher according to realist is neither as high and important as the idealist advocate nor so negligible as the naturalist speak out. It is fairly important. The teacher according to realists is expected to have full knowledge of the content and the needs of children. A teacher should be educated and well versed with the customs of belief and rights and duties of people and the trends. He must have full mastery of the knowledge of present life. He must be able to expose and guide the student towards the hard realities of life, neither pessimist nor optimist. He must be able to cooperate to relate between the utility in daily life and education. He should define simple rules. He should teach subjects in proper orders and he needs to find out the interest of the child and to teach accordingly. Now, methods of teaching. Our traditional system of education gave to the child only bookish knowledge, which was purely academic and wordy. But realists changed the system of teaching to gaining knowledge through sense according to the child's nature and capacity by way of observations and experience. So the realist insisted of to impart knowledge of objects and external phenomena through senses. It emphasizes on critical reasoning through observations. It supports accountability and performance-based teaching. It should be scientific research and development. The teacher should have mastery of facts like recitations, experimentation, demonstration, drills, exercise. Education should proceed from simple to complex and from concrete to abstract. It enhanced learning through direct or indirect experience, field trips, lecture films, TV, audio, visual aids, computer technology, and library. According to the realisms, the methods of teaching and learning is based on facts, analysis, questioning. It is based to the vernacular to the medium of instructions and it precisions and order, ringing bells. time periods, daily lesson plans, pre-packaged curriculum materials. The children should be given positive rewards. Now, there are some merits of realisms. Realism emphasizes that education should be practical and utilitarian. Realisms prescribed realistic and useful aims of education. It make revolutionary changes in the methods of teaching. Scientific subjects have found in an important place in curriculum. In place of impressionistic discipline, a synthetic form of impressionistic and emancipator disciplines is being accepted. It emphasized on objectivity. It has changed an organizational pattern of school. Now, demerits of realism. It lays a great stress on physical world. It regards sense are the only gateway of knowledge. It emphasizes facts and realities of life, not for values and idols. It accepts real needs and real feelings only. It emphasizes scientific subjects to the neglect of art and literature. It make imbalance in curriculum. So it's all about my topic. Thank you so much.